Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kenedy. We're here with the latest news of the Montgomery County Council. Up first this week, unanimous approval of the growth and infrastructure policy. This policy is based on having enough infrastructure to support new development. The policy is updated every 4 years. These new revisions include the removal of the housing moratorium, reduction of the school impact tax to 100% of the cost of a seat, and it prioritizes strategies to improve travel safety on our roads.
The vision of the policy that we are adopting, I think, really reflects the mandate from the council and the vision that we have to seek more momentum in our economy, to ensure that we are accurately charging for the impact of development, and at the same time, better aligning that whole policy with our economic development goals and a number of areas where the county has struggled.
Council members Will Jawando and Hans Reamer have introduced legislation that would eliminate the school resource officer program in Montgomery County Public Schools.
We make investments in mental health supports.
At an afternoon media event, each council member outlined why they believe this legislation is necessary.
This is not about SROs being bad people. I know many of our SROs who are good folks who care about kids. This is about the proper role in supports for our students. We have one of the worst nurse-to-student ratios in the country, worst counselor-to-student ratios in the region, in the county, in our region. And that is what this is about. It's about, in a time of limited resources and considering the global pandemic that's happening right now, and the social justice pandemic that we're seeing, and the police violence across the country and here at home, that we must make these changes now and reallocate these resources and support all students, their safety, their mental health, their well-being.
The legislation will prohibit the placement of officers in the schools, and the appropriations focus on a number of critical needs. Right now, kids are not in school. So we want to be able to provide for after-school programming, essentially athletic and recreational services for our most at-risk kids. Normally 3,000 of our young students would be in after-school programming. So we are trying to meet that need with direct engagement and enrichment.
Here in Montgomery County, there's a goal to divert 70% of materials from the waste stream by the end of this year. A new measure introduced at the council would work toward that goal by expanding composting. At 1 Acre Farm in Dickerson, farmer Mike Protus is a big believer in composting as a method of enriching his soil and delivering healthy food. But getting that compost material hasn't always been easy.
It's harder to find materials to make compost with.
Zoning Text Amendment 2004 will create a greener local economy by increasing the amount of organic waste farmers can use on their property to produce and manufacture compost and mulch.
Right now, farms are limited at only accepting 20% capacity for off-site composting, which means the other 80% of what they're composting has to come from their facility, their own farm. But now we're going to increase it to 50%. And that way we're able to accept more food waste from residents of Montgomery County, means less waste in our landfill, less waste in our incinerator, and it's good for the farms and good for the earth.
The main thing is we need, as farmers, we need as much organic matter in our soil as possible. So by expanding the amount of material we can compost in this zone text amendment, we can then create more compost, which we can put on our fields. At the moment, there's a never-ending supply. We could use an unlimited supply of compost. Now, of course, in 20 years, that's a different story. But for right now, we have a lot of work to build up our soils back up so that they have enough organic matter to grow the healthy plants that we need to furnish healthy people.
Councilmember Glass says this measure is a big step in reducing the waste stream that exists here.
If we're going to meet those goals, not only here in Montgomery County, but nationally and globally, we have to start taking more bold action. And this is just one little step.
The council is scheduled to hold a public hearing on the measure December 1st. Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kenedy.